Back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, this is going to be an interesting topic to read on. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is trying to take his name off the ballot in North Carolina. The State Board of Elections voted 3-2 along party lines, 3 Democrats versus 2 Republicans, to reject his request to have his name removed. So the 3 Democrats said, no, your name is staying on the ballot in North Carolina. So this has forced Kennedy Jr. to file a lawsuit in Wake County Superior Court. With the November election looming and ballot deadlines fast approaching, Kennedy has no choice but to turn to the Superior Court for immediate relief. Since Kennedy suspended his campaign in August, he has sought to withdraw his name in states where the race could be close, such as North Carolina. At the same time, he has not made that same effort in states like New York, where his presence is unlikely to make a difference in the vote. And unless the court intervenes, Kennedy's name is going to appear on the North Carolina ballot in November. The 3 Democrats voted basically saying that he has to stay with the We the People party line. That's the name of the party he was with. The Democratic majority said it was too late to remove his name from the ballots. Why? Because 67 of the state's 100 counties had already begun the process of printing ballots. And the first of those ballots has to be sent out on September 6th. I record this on August 31st. This story probably came out on Friday, which would have been the 29th, I think. 30th. Anyways, the main vendor for most of the counties has already printed 1.7 million ballots, and reprints would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And when you print a ballot, we're not talking about pressing copy on a Xerox machine. It's a much more complicated and layered process. The two Republicans disagreed. They said the board could delay statutory deadline for absentee ballots. So here's what's going on. They've already started printing the ballots for 2/3 of the counties in North Carolina. And those ballots have to go out September 6th, which means they have to be done printing. They've got like 5 or 6 days to get this stuff done. It's too late to remove your name from the ballot. And he's obviously doing that to help Trump. Which is why he's been pressuring Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to drop out, because Trump's polling shows that Kennedy is pulling more votes from Trump than he is Kamala Harris. So the Kennedy campaign is not consistent across the board with the states that they're registered in for getting his name off. I get it from the point of view with a battleground state. You want the folks in the battleground state to vote for the 2 primary candidates. But you waited too long. Why didn't you do this sooner? Especially if you knew you were going to pull out. But, whatever. So why is this important? If Trump and the Republicans decide they want to trade out J.D. Vance in North Carolina, guess what? They're not going to be able to do that. Vance is going to have to be on the ticket. If the Republicans replace J.D. Vance with someone else, then the ballots in North Carolina, if you cast your ballot for Trump or J.D. Vance, it doesn't count for Trump. And let's say he names Elon Musk as his new VP or something like that, or Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It doesn't count towards that because it's Trump Vance, not Trump RFK, not Trump Musk. You get what you see where I'm going with this? They don't say, oh, it's a vote for Trump, therefore it counts. It doesn't count that way. And the ballots are all going out. Some states have already started printing them over a week ago. Some are starting now. Some are starting next week. So the Republicans, by picking Trump and Trump picking Vance, or being told to pick Vance, their ticket's now set. And if Trump, for some reason, decides to negotiate some deal to get his sentences commuted in the states, and his part of the deal is to withdraw as a Republican candidate, the Republicans have no option. They have a write-in option at that point. And then they have to rely on their voters to be able to spell. at this point, it's going to be a Trump-Vance campaign. And if they change their mind, they're going to screw themselves in some states. But let's look at the energy at Robert F. Kennedy Jr. trying to take his name off in battleground states. And we're going to look at the energy of that, and we're going to look at the energy of how that impacts Trump and the RNC. Okay? Sorry, quick drink break there. Because I know a lot of you are like, well, what happens if he changes this? What happens if he does that? That's what we're going to find out. Right now, it's already showing it's too late in North Carolina to change the Republican ticket. All right, entertainment purposes only. Let's take a look at Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s his attempts to remove himself from the ballot in North Carolina and other battleground states. This is for entertainment purposes only. Foundation of the reading is the Nine of Cups. You know, the hopes, wishes, dreams fulfilled. They're the smug merchant crossed with the Fool card and the Empress. It's, you know, the courts are going to rule that, you know, he's trying to leave because he's made a deal with Trump to give Trump his support so that Trump has a better shot of being elected here. But underneath with the Empress card, this is taking care of meeting everybody's needs. There's deadlines. You know, you just can't willy-nilly change this. This isn't the 5th grade ball monitor election. You know what I mean? Where every week somebody new is the kickball monitor and it's their job to give out the basketballs and kickballs to the playgrounds on your class and then make sure you're collected on the way thing. Where you can say, I volunteer, then 30 seconds later say, no, I unvolunteer my name on it. This isn't like that. There's planning that goes into this. You can't just change your mind and expect there's no consequences for this. You're kind of stuck. In the past, you got the star card here. Kennedy, you know, he rising star. He's got the Kennedy family. Everything was lined. No, he was excited to get his name on all these ballots. He was going to be that independent candidate that was going to give people a choice, a protest vote. They could vote for their values and things along those lines. And then he gave over his allegiance to Donald Trump. Hey, you offer me a cabinet post and I'll do this for you. I'll kill my campaign. We're going to get along great together. And, you know, I won't be taking votes away from you. Again, this is in service of Trump. Kennedy's getting what he wants, which is some cabinet post. And, you know, he was going to be set up really nicely. Okay, so that tells me the energy of why Kennedy dropped out. He made a deal with Trump. He was going to put an end to his candidacy that was going to help Trump get elected. And then in payment for that, Trump was going to put Kennedy in a position of authority that Kennedy wanted. So you can imagine that anything that dealt with human health and services, something along those lines, Kennedy would be all over it so he could anti-vax the living bejesus out of us. Him and his addled brain, his brain that's being eaten by a worm. Screw that guy. He's nuts. I'd love to see a mental health evaluation on Kennedy Jr. Did you know that if Kennedy Jr. Used to collect a lot of dead animals and he would slaughter them and store their meat in his freezer and he would eat it? Saves money, I guess. Do you know he did that for bear meat? Which is like that one bear that he ended up putting in Central Park because he didn't have time to slaughter it or something along those lines. So next best thing, let's play a joke on people. Did you also know that bear meat, because they eat a lot of raw fish and things like that, apparently they get a lot of tapeworms and things like that forming cysts in the bear muscle. And it's the muscle meat that you're eating. So if you eat that and you don't prepare properly, you can get tapeworms and other parasites like that. Maybe that make it to your brain and cause you brain issues. Just saying. Let's look at that energy around Kennedy again. We're asking about the states. It told us his deal with Trump. What are we looking at with the states here? We're going to start at the 10 of coins. I'm still wondering if we're going to hear about the Kennedy family. It's the DNA, the ancestry, the history with it, and then the charge. Okay, we're just getting Spirit's just sharing more of the story here because Trump wants Kennedy because of the Kennedy name and the legacy with it, and by having racing to embrace Kennedy and give him a new path, Trump thinks that this is going to help his campaign. In the past, this is now Kennedy walking away from the campaign to join Trump, calling for his followers to come join the Trump campaign. Trump is celebrating the coup that is getting Mr. Wormbrain on his side because Trump thinks that he's going to get voters back that were supporting Kennedy. He's going to get them back to him. Strong passions that go with this. The thing is, though, the voters that went to Kennedy, those were protest votes. As Kamala Harris has gained in popularity, Kennedy's popularity went down from 9% to 5%. Presumably, the 4% of the people that left Kennedy went to go support Kamala Harris. So Trump's hoping that the 5% still supporting Kennedy will fall back in line and support Trump. But I think some of these folks are never Trumpers. They would have voted for Trump anyways. The fact that they went to Kennedy means that they're fed up with Trump. So libertarians, Peace and Freedom Party, don't vote at all. Who knows? Outcome is the star card. Calm after the storm, falling star. Trump thinks he's got a winner with having Kennedy on his side. The two of them are aligned with this. Now, I've asked Spirit twice about how this is going to impact the election here, and twice I've gotten readings on kind of what was motivating Kennedy and what is motivating Trump. So I might have to punt. And ask, instead of asking, how's it going to impact the election, I could just ask the very general, okay, Spirit, what is it that you want to tell me? You told me about this. What else is it that you want to tell me? Because apparently you want to tell me about the background and not about how it's going to impact the states. It just could be that we're seeing a parallel here if Trump tries to pull out. I mean, I've already talked about that, though. So what do you want, Spirit? What else do you want to share with me here? What else do you want to share with me? Do we have, okay, decks the proper way. This card wants to stay on top. Let's come on down. What does Spirit want to share with me? Six of Swords. Moving away, going away from choppy waters to common shores, celebrating. It's like Kennedy leaving the race. It was Trump celebrating. Four of Swords. He's waiting for that silent 4%. Where are they going with it? Knight of Pentacles. Kennedy basically is mercenarying himself. It brings a close to the Kennedy campaign. Maybe even Kennedy's in politics. But to me, the first vibe I got from this is it doesn't matter. The deal's already sealed, so to speak. Yeah, okay. Overarching energy is the Tower. It doesn't matter that Kennedy is joining Trump. It's like the free will choices have been made. The die is cast. The timeline is locked down, and things are happening. We're crashing down. Sudden endings. It could be to Kennedy's campaign, but I think this involves Trump too. The lesson to be learned is the Two of Wands. The planning. This is something that Kennedy should have done a while ago. It's too late now. It's closed. He's trying to leave. Okay, here we go. Kennedy's trying to leave the states, but it's not going to be successful. He's too late. He's offered himself to Trump, but it's too late. Some states have printed their ballots. They're not going to undo it. You should have thought about this before. out comes the Ace of Pentacles, Fool's Gold. So, there could be a push to try and get things done, but at the end of the day, part of it's the money, but also part of it is, you just got to follow the rules sometimes. And there's no incentive for the states to accommodate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. with this request, because what's so special about it? No, candidates drop out all the time. You're on the ballot. We printed it out. We're not going to change it for you. There's no Supreme Court case in this. It's basically, this offering is fool's gold. He offered to be a mercenary, but it's fool's gold because he waited too damn long to get off the ticket. Come on down. I just want to show you something else. Now, if Trump were to decide to get a new vice president or leave the ticket, we would be celebrating. He would offer a deal that would end his campaign. The Republican Party's ticket comes crashing down because now you have to write in things, and it's the same message. You should have thought about this before. If you were going to leave the ticket or change a VP, you should have done this a while ago. And then what's left are the Republicans holding what they thought was pure gold is fool's gold. And this is a decision that should have been thought through. This is Nikki Haley warning them for months what the Democrats were going to do and what was going to happen. And so far, she's been right about that. Democrats did something unexpected. They put Joe Biden off the ticket, and Joe Biden, I should say, withdrew from running for re-election. Kamala Harris got the nod, and all of a sudden there's a ton of momentum behind the Democrats, and now Donald Trump's the old doddering fool. And it's now basically too late for the Republicans to change. Will the Republicans pursue change? Or will the Republicans stick with Trump and the Trump-Vance ticket? The Queen of Swords just popped up. I'm still on top now. Will the Republicans stay with the Trump-Vance ticket? But then I have to ask, is Trump going to stay with the Trump-Vance ticket? Because that's actually more important. Will the Republicans stay with the Trump-Vance ticket? The Page of Swords. And I'm not feeling so hot about it anymore. Judgment. Six of Coins, the Two of Cups, the King of Wands. They're going to because it's just like, well, what do you do? We look like a bunch of idiots if we change these things. We got to, pretty much at this point, we got to stick with our guns here. We've spent all this money. We've done all the donations. If we change tickets, it's going to impact the down ballot elections. We're not going to get a lot of support down the ballot here. We made our choice. We need to stick with it. We came to an agreement on things. Ride this wave all the way through. So the Republicans are going to resist any kind of change to their presidential ticket. Trump, I'm sure, is asking for a change. And, the RNC is going to say, no, you're not changing. There's no way. This would be disastrous if we change. But here's the thing. Donald Trump doesn't care what anybody else other than what Donald Trump thinks. And he wants you to agree with him because he's always the smartest man. My poor cards here. He's always the smartest man in the room. So why would you disagree with him? Only a fool would disagree with Donald Trump, who's the smartest man in the room, right? Okay. What's Donald Trump planning on doing? Is he planning on either changing his vice president, or is he planning on negotiating his way out of prison by withdrawing his campaign? Let's look at that. Come on down. I get the feeling I want to take two signifiers here. I'm glad I did, because there's the Moon card in the Walking Away. My two signifiers. Thank you for letting me choose two signifiers on that one. He's talking about, unknown changes and walking away from things. Page of Pentacles. Hangman. Ten of Cups. And the Devil card, of course, because it's Trump. What do we got going on here? He's talking about walking away because he's crazy. We got the moon eclipsing the sun in both cards here. The emotional walking away, the mysteries behind things. Nothing is going right for this guy. He knows he needs a fresh start. He needs something new to get people interested in his campaign. But people are walking out of his rallies, and he doesn't know what to do. He can't think outside of the box on fixing his situation. He lacks imagination. He lacks innovation. He needs innovation if he's going to win. But Trump only knows, in all his years, he's only learned a few ways to do things. And now this is coming back to bite him in the butt. Would Trump negotiate and leave the ticket if it kept him out of prison? You better believe he would. Does he care that this would throw the Republicans, their elections, into disarray? No, not at all. Because he got what he wanted. So expect that there is going to be some fireworks coming up in the next few weeks with Trump and the RNC. I don't know if you'll hear things about if there starts to become more and more daylight between Trump's positions. Obviously, you hear his handlers are trying to get him to follow the script, as it were. Talk about the economy, talk about inflation, talk about Afghanistan, and all he could do is personal attacks. And when he tries to reach out to the soldiers, could you fumble it worse than what happened at Arlington? And I actually just watched a TikTok video where they were showing Trump being interviewed by a blonde woman asking him about Arlington, and he was denying that he knew anything about it, about photographers, about videos. And she said somebody put together a campaign ad, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know who did that. It could have been the parents of the Gold Star. The Gold Star parents did that. I don't know. It could have been anybody." What? He doesn't know who it is, but then he'll throw other people under the bus. And then he says, the current administration did that. Oh, so now he's blaming the Biden-Harris administration. And he's also basically, for extra added fun, saying the Army's lying. I don't know. I really wish the woman in the military who got shoved filed charges. Because then it's out there. Then there's an investigation. And it goes to courts where facts and discovery matter. And this whole lying and gaslighting that he does every day, his lying and gaslighting never works in court because court relies on facts and evidence and data. And Trump provides none of those things. He provides bluster, emotion, opinion, and bluffing. That's it. The Republicans are screwed. They are absolutely screwed. And I do think that there's going to be a little bit of a civil war going on. Let's describe what's coming up next between Trump and the RNC. Now here I am wrapping up, and I think we're going to do one more quick spread here. So kudos to you who have not shut this thing down and gone on to your next video about cats doing naughty cat things and hung around here for a little bit longer. What's next for Trump and the Republicans coming up in the next week or two? King of Cups. I doubt that's going to be about Biden. It's going to be an emotional thing here that's going on. It's about the planning. Trump wanting to make changes, and they're saying, dude, it's too late. We're going to cost us the election. It's too difficult to do it. Wow, this is the same damn cards. Trump's got he's got an idea. He's either, he's coming up with some idea trying to get his campaign going, and the RNC is going to push back. They're saying, you can't make the change now. You're going to screw us on the whole ticket. You should have thought about this before. It's too difficult a change. And in some ways, it's like as Trump melts down, they're watching the party drown. They made their decision. They made their bed. They have to sleep with, they have to live in it. And they're worried about what's coming up in the near future as the votes come in. This is almost like the youth vote coming in or something along those lines. The RNC is understanding that they've messed up by having Trump in there. He's not controllable. He loses. He's no different than he was 8 years ago, except he's not as sharp. He's not as eloquent. He was never eloquent to begin with, but he's even worse now. He doesn't read the room. He's lost touch, and he's surrounded by yes men. This is a recipe for disaster, and it couldn't happen to a nicer party. This is what you get. This is what you get. This is what you signed on for. This is what you get. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. Again, it's for entertainment purposes only, but I do hope you found the reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.